Hello everyone, this video is going to be a video about some practical advice to what to do if you're being stalked, harassed, or people are trespassing on your property. And this is a direct response to one of my subscribers. I actually gave him a reply here, but I'm going to do this in video format as well because this is the serious kind of stuff. So NJB, if you're watching this, I want you to know that I deal with this on a regular basis, and that's why I'm making this video, because as soon as I read that comment, it's like you described a very large portion of my life. It hit close to home, and things have been ramping up around here again because of this coronavirus, but it's mostly just been kids on four-wheelers, which are respectful enough. I go to them, I catch them, I tell them of the dangers, or they see me coming and they just leave. They're just people being a nuisance. But then when you start getting people that are dangerous, that are coming in at night, that are stalking you, that have firearms, that are loud, obnoxious, and you just feel that feeling in your spirit that these people are bad news, that's when you got a problem. So I'm going to tell you a brief story, and I'm going to keep it brief because I want to get into some practical advice. I'm pretty much going to say the same thing to you I said in this comment, but elaborate on it a little bit more. I've had my house shot at before, okay, and what was happening is that there was a very large drug ring, and I'm not going to say too much, obviously, that was coming around here, and they were trying to use the back trails to make deals and do whatever else, and they were starting to get a foothold, but a sting operation happened because all the people that live around here, myself included and many others, started calling the police and getting their license plate and working against them, okay? So if you have any good neighbors, you need to collaborate with them if they're willing to help you on this matter. If you know anybody around, tell them what's going on. Make sure people know that this is happening to you, okay? If they're trustworthy. Don't isolate yourself if you don't have to. Okay? So let people at your church know if you have a church that you're going to. And reach out to people, see if they might be willing to help. But that's entirely, I don't know where you live. I don't know if you know anybody where you live on that level. But if you do, it's time to get other people involved if you can. The next thing I will say is if you're going to go out and confront them, especially at night, you need to be very careful. If you're ever confronting more than one person, or even if it is just one person, watch your distance and keep an eye on their footwork, because people will give telltale signs. Many cops that have died in the line of duty, they get too close and they get too comfortable, and then all of a sudden these people will charge at you. Keep people at a reasonable distance. I'd say about 10 to 8 feet, maybe more than that if you can help it. Definitely make sure that you're armed with a firearm that has more than a couple of bullets, and bring a couple clips with you as well. I know that's a terrible thing to say, but there's nothing biblically wrong with defending yourself, okay? If it comes down to that. But don't do it unless you have absolutely no choice. And remember that the laws are very finicky. It depends upon where you live. I don't know where you're living on that regard, so make sure you look into that kind of stuff. If possible, make sure that you let other people know before you go out to confront people like that, so if anything does happen, people will know and will be paying attention, okay? On the other hand, if you can get their license plate without having to put yourself in any immediate danger, that would be the best thing that you can do. For example, if they're coming very close to your house, set up a camera. Some of the cameras are expensive, but you can't put a price on peace of mind. So you put it into a tree that's somewhere nearby, or you put it directly on your house, and make sure you look into whether or not it's going to flash, because if it does flash, that can alert them that camera is there. So you want to get one that preferably doesn't make too much noise or make too much light, and try to set it up at an angle that will catch their license plate. And then once you do, turn it into the police, okay? If you can get one that's a video feed, that would be best, but a camera will work just as well, especially if they are actively trespassing. But if they're trying to harass you from like a street corner or something that's public property, it can be a little bit more difficult to get the police involved. But at the very least, the police will know that something's going on with your household, okay? But if you can get them on video honking their horns at night like that, and their license plate on top of that, that's disturbing the peace, and that is direct harassment, and that is against the law. And if they trespass 3 times, they'll get felony trespass, and they may end up in prison for it, okay? But yeah, I mean, you do what you need to do to keep yourself safe. Make sure that you have good locks in your house. And the same thing for your windows as well. Be careful about that kind of stuff. If it actually gets to the point where your house is being shot at, I really don't know what I can say about this. It's happened to me before, but you need to know where you can go in that situation. You don't want to like barricade yourself in a room if you don't have to, because the best thing for you at that point might be versatility. There's nothing in that house that's worth dying for. So like if they're actively shooting at your house and you got a chance to run out the back door and get away, that might be the best thing that you can do, okay? Because especially if you know the area. Now, if you're living in a residential, or excuse me, if you're living in like a highly a dense area, there's people all around you. If that, it might be a different story at that point, because then you're like, but yeah, I mean, even then, go to somebody's house, but be careful, because if guns are going off, you don't want that person to think that you're somebody involved, and then you end up getting shot trespassing yourself. Uh, but if you live in like an area like I do, run. Go out into the woods if you can, because they won't be able to find you out there, especially since you know the land if you live around there. Just be smart, basically. Be smart about this. And the only real option you have is to get the police involved, because they will crack down on the whole thing, whatever's going on. And yeah, if you confront them, I've had myself completely surrounded before, and this is my last tidbit of advice. If you're surrounded by people that are criminals, more often than not, they don't think things through. So, and this is hard to do, but if you can explain to them, like say if you try to kill me right now, say something like this. There's like so and so many people that know I'm out here talking to you right now, and you're surrounded by people that will record you no matter what direction you take. And then start talking to them about all the evidence that's around there, like skin flakes and hair fibers and stuff like that, and tell them that the minimum of prison time for murder, which has no statute of limitations, by the way, is 40 years. And that will deflate their pride, okay? But don't do it like you're arrogant. Just say it out loud, and act like you know what you're talking about, and because you want to get them into a place where they're afraid of hurting you. Okay, I've done this before, and I've seen people actively, like, how people puff up and they're ready to attack you. They go right back down. Try to keep an attitude of forgiveness, and don't make things worse. Don't escalate. Don't scream. Don't holler. Don't give them a reason to want to attack you. You have every reason to be annoyed, but if you escalate it, you're by yourself, you're isolated, you're surrounded. That's bad, because people will do really, really stupid things on those kind of time periods. I've had to deal with all of this. I've been surrounded by foilers. I've been surrounded by people that are just not good, and it's very frightening. But you have to keep your composure, because if you cower down to them, you can't. Let's just say you can't rely upon the mercy of other people. I learned that the hard way. You have to give them make them back down. If all else fails, do this anyway, obviously, but your best defense is trusting in God. I prayed about it, and it was amazing the things that he started working out. The police started coming up here, and now they patrol around here all the time, and things have gotten a lot better around here. The only things that I see now are just kids running around, and he will protect you. And, no matter what happens, your soul is firmly in the security of Jesus Christ. And even if these people did, like, decide to hurt you, and something like that happens, God forbid, remember that they can't take your soul, okay? That's the worst thing, that's the worst scenario, but they can't take your soul. You'll be all right no matter what, okay? You're in God's hands, and that's what I wanted to come on here and say, brother. I'm really sorry that you're going through this. I know what it's like, and now a lot of my subscribers that watch this video will also know that I deal with a lot more than meets the eye. Okay, it's not just the dangers of these people that are trespassing on my land have to go through. It's also that, some of the people around here are really nasty pieces of work. God bless.